Well, Jared, I warned you, but I don't know what that was in terms of our open there, but we got to where we needed to go.
Here we are.
Which is right here. Appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching. Again, Bill Rensselaer in the 1011 Now streaming studio alongside Jared Minary from the Lincoln Police Department. It's Wednesday. That means it's Crime Stoppers Day. We're happy to have Jared back in the chair to kick off our November Crime Stoppers.
To not talk about politics.
To not talk about politics or any of the text messages or any of the commercials. I don't know who it was. I still have to give him kudos. Here in the 1011 building, they posted on our Facebook and Twitter last night the exact time that the last political ad was going to run on 1011, which was 5:13 yesterday.
So everybody celebrated.
Yes, everyone celebrated, and now we just have to wait another 2 years for it to all come back. But Jared, how have you been? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had you on.
Doing really good. Got a couple of cases to talk about today, so hopefully we can get some clearance rates on these.
Yeah,
so.
who do we want to start with? Do we want to start with vandalism or the auto theft?
Let's do the vandalism.
Okay.
So basically, this is out at Wesleyan campus. So we had Sunday night. Actually, for most people that are out late at night, this would have been Saturday night at 2 a.m. So Sunday, October 27th. We had three girls. They were walking back to their sorority on the Wesleyan campus when this truck drives by. I'm not really sure how this happens, but somehow the mirror on the truck strikes one of the girls. Then it sounds like the became verbal between the three males in the truck and the three females walking to the sorority.
I would yell at him too if I got clipped by.
I might, yeah.
I have some words,
and maybe there's some, they were yelling at them for damaging their mirror. I don't know the whole story, obviously, but obviously it got pretty vocal. In the end, the girls go into the sorority, and the three guys get out of this truck. They walk up to the house, and they start banging on the door, and they end up ripping the door handle right off of the door of the sorority. So at that point, you kind of have a vandalism. Obviously, who knows what the whole story is. We would like to hear the whole story if somebody would like to share it. But definitely follow up on the whole vandalizing the doors.
Yeah, and so this is a Ring doorbell camera image. Again, a little fuzzy, but again, you can make out pretty clearly. Again, three white males there. They all look like they have brown hair. Again, the one kind of in the front there looks like he's got a little bit of a beard. Button-up shirt there. One of them's wearing a hat. One of them looks like he's kind of wearing a jumpsuit.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Halloween party. We were thinking maybe he's dressed up like Maverick from Top Gun, and the guy in the back, maybe he's dressed up like, I can't remember the kid's name from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're
curly
talking
hair.
about.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's just the way they always look.
Yeah, that could be. It could be. It could have just been a regular Saturday night for him.
Yep. So we're hoping maybe somebody recognized at least one or three of them, or maybe they even know about this incident with the truck and can give us some information on it. So.
Well, yeah, because would this be kind of two issues then between the clipping of them, the girls, one of the girls with the mirror?
At this point, we're working as vandalism, but I'm not going to say it couldn't be.
Okay.
Because if there's something, obviously if there's an intentional act, you have a much bigger issue.
Yes.
If it's a hit and run, that's a possibility, depending on the damage or the injuries.
And, it was a Wesleyan building.
Yep.
So it's not like this is an old rundown house where they ripped the door handle off, where it maybe could have done pretty easily. I'm assuming if this is a Wesleyan building, that door handle was on there pretty good. So they were giving
yes.
a pretty good tug, it sounds like.
It sounds like they pulled on it pretty hard or something. I don't know if they pried on it or pulled on it, but they definitely got it off of there. So
yeah, so glad that the three girls are okay. Again, that I'm sure was probably very frightening for them.
Yep, and thankfully they had this nice Ring camera on the door for the sorority, so we got this great image of these guys. So
good.
Hopefully we'll follow up on that way.
Good. Okay. So again, if anyone knows anything, Jared, best ways to get in touch with you guys?
Obviously, you can always give us a call at the police department. You can call that number, 402-441-6000. That is our non-emergency dispatch number. They can get you in touch with an officer to talk to about this case. If you want to be anonymous or you want a reward for your tip, you have to call Crime Stoppers. You cannot do that through the police department. And that number, if you're going to call, is 402-475-3600. You, of course, can go online to LincolnCrimeStoppers.com, see this case and all the other ones we're going to talk about today, or we're posting lately. And then finally, of course, that P3 app that is great to download to your phone because it allows you to have some communication with the people that are taking those Crime Stoppers tips. Maybe they can ask a follow-up question or two. And it just allows you the ability to easily go back in and see if your case has been cleared and maybe a reward status.
And, Jared, we talk a lot about that P3 app because it is a good resource. But the anonymous phone number, the 475-3600, if I were to call that right now, what does that process look like? Is it just someone down there at LPD who picks up and They just listen while you give a tip, or how does that process
It's
work?
actually going to depend on what time you call.
Okay.
So if you call during the day, a lot of times that's going to be routed right to our crime analysis unit. So that would be civilians that work for the police department, and they're just going to be entering that tip into the tip system. If it's after hours, we actually have a call taker center in, I think it's Dallas, Texas, that will answer that phone number. Obviously, they take tips from all over the country, so they might ask you a couple of extra questions just to make sure they're getting the location right, like what city you live in, things like that. But then they will then take that information and enter that into that system, and then that will be then sent to our local Crime Stoppers Board system, and then it's delivered to the police department to then be delivered to an officer to investigate. So it's kind of a long roundabout, but that's one of the ways we keep you guys totally anonymous.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, okay. Like I said, I know we spend a lot of time on that P3 app, but also that's something we should also touch
Totally.
on.
We get a lot of calls, and we get mobile tips. We get web tips. And a lot of times we can actually tell how people are tipping. I will say that mobile tips has definitely gone up quite a bit, just obviously because more people want to use their cell phones for texting stuff in.
Yeah.
But we still get phone calls from people all the time. So
I know I might be wrong. You might know, so correct me if I'm wrong. You and LPD, they have a text, basically tip line.
yes.
Is that something that LPD is looking at, or something like
that's
that?
totally separate. So that's like a university thing.
Okay.
We don't have anything like for LPD that does that. I mean, the closest honestly we have is this Crime Stoppers P3 thing. So
Okay. I guess that's true. That that is just that. Well, maybe something in the future for
We'll
you,
see.
for you to head up there, Joe. give you more work on your plate.
Yeah.
All right, our other crime today, we have a couple of gentlemen with some sticky fingers here, Jared, and we got good video of them wandering around a parking lot. This is near East Campus.
This is actually, UNL's East Campus, and basically kind of that area, 36 and Apple, it sounds like. These two guys, they're prowling around these cars. You can see they're trying different door locks. They got into a couple cars, kind of prowled around inside those cars. Not too sure if we stole anything from the cars they got into, but definitely ended up getting into a pickup truck. That truck, unfortunately, had the keys in it, and you can see here they're driving off in that maroon Ford F-150. Basically, they took it. It was gone for a few days. 4 days later, we ended up finding it, and that was over at 31st and N Street. So really, honestly, not too far from where they stole it. So we don't know if maybe they were just joyriding and taking a nice trip home, or they had it for that whole time and then just ended up ditching it. But 31st and N, a lot of times when people ditch a car like that, they might live in that area. So maybe we're looking in that area for our suspect. So we're hoping that maybe somebody can give us a tip on who's been driving that car during that time frame. We did process the car with like fingerprints, DNA, things like that. But of course, what most people don't know is that kind of stuff takes a long time to come back to us. So if we can get another lead in the meantime, even better. And then once that stuff comes back to us, then we can have just that more probable cause to make an arrest with someone.
Yeah.
It's basically the kids had it for anywhere between a few hours and 4 days. So if somebody did see them driving around in this, we would definitely like to know what they're doing with it. Maybe they were doing other criminal activities, because that'll happen sometimes. They'll steal a car and then they go out and they steal more stuff, and then
Drop
that
the
way it
car
doesn't
back
come
off.
back to them. Yeah.
Yep.
So
And so again, the video itself is really good, but when we try and look at the pictures of the individuals, hard to kind of make out some features there. And again, they're wearing long slacks, long sleeve shirts. Looks like they might have masks on there.
Yep. I believe they have some kind of like the COVID mask kind of thing.
Yep. But again, red cooler there.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things where if he's carrying around red cooler now, maybe he's carrying around a red cooler.
Exactly. That one kind of stands out. I have questions. I will say that.
Because this was early in the morning, 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, on Friday.
And he's carrying around, got to keep your drinks cool.
And that would be October 11th if I didn't say. I can't remember. So a little while ago, about a month ago. Near East Campus, 36th and 36th and Apple, right? Yep.
Found at 31st and N.
You got it. Good memory.
I do okay sometimes.
I need notes for that kind of thing.
If you just say it really fast and confidently, people will believe you. That's what I do when I do the weather sometimes.
Good to know.
There's a 40% chance it's going to rain on Friday. Okay, now we're going to talk about something else. But no, here's another shot again. We can see kind of the side profile back image. Again, hard to make out much in the way of features there. White shoes, white hat. Again, so again, if It's just something to look for. And again,
Yep.
this is, I'm assuming, just an example, or is this the actual vehicle that was?
My understanding, this is the vehicle.
Okay.
We did find it, so this is when we probably found it.
Okay.
So again, we have this vehicle. We're not looking for it, so please don't call us and tell us where it's at. We know who has it now. But if somebody was using it around October 11th, maybe for a few days after that, that's what we're really interested in. So.
And so again, just another great reminder: don't leave your keys in your car.
Yeah.
Don't leave your car unlocked.
We get a lot of people that come from smaller cities in Nebraska. Unfortunately, Lincoln and Omaha just aren't the same. You need to be a little extra cautious about where you leave your keys and locking doors and all that. So.
Yeah. And so I'm just miffed again. Criminals aren't but you just left it. Like if you're stealing stuff, isn't the vehicle that you've already stolen probably the most valuable thing that?
I
guess,
I'm
I'm assuming it's pretty difficult to flip around a stolen vehicle.
I was going to say, I don't think we have too much of a market for stolen vehicles locally unless you're taking them out of state, and that's just pretty rare. So most of the time when people are stealing cars in Nebraska, I would say they're either taking it to joyride or they're taking it because they want to commit another crime and they need I don't know, what you call it, getaway vehicle,
getaway,
something like that. And a lot of times it really is just they're just taking it because it's a convenient thing because somebody left the keys in it, and let's go for a joyride. You're just making yourself a real big victim if you leave those keys in the car.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just it doesn't compute in my brain, but that's just why they do what they do, I suppose. So again, we already talked about it, but again, if you want to remain anonymous and get that reward, again, you got to make an anonymous tip. You can do that at 402-475-3600. Tip on LincolnCrimeStoppers.com or download that P3 app. That's for Lincoln, Lancaster County Crime Stoppers. Again, you can also check out the webpage. This is a look at the webpage, Jared. Again, it's always chock full of good stuff. Again, you got the cases that we just talked on and then plenty more. And again, we've talked about it before, but if you end up on here, there's a 50% chance that you personally are going to go and make an arrest.
Absolutely.
Or issue a citation.
Yeah. Flip that coin. We're probably going to get you.
So, okay. All right. Is there anything else? Gosh darn it. Why is my computer just doesn't want to work today?
It's tired from this week.
It is tired from last night, so we should probably give it a rest. But
Yeah.
anything else really quick before we let you go?
Nope. I've given you enough break from politics, so your brain can now go back to it if you like.
Palate cleanser. Rinse everything out after a long night last night. So, all right. Well, Jared, appreciate it. As always fun to have you in and to chit-chat. So, again, if you know anything about those two cases, please, again, let Jared know, again, through those ways that we've already touched about. So, appreciate everyone for tuning in and watching. Until next time, we'll see you next Wednesday.